smaller
A
scale
smaller project.
project.
Times have changed.
But in the world of the projects we're doing, we had picked a 5-year term, because it was easily manageable within our rate system. This will be paid for, out of the water sewer revenue funds, and it's was already accounted for in the budget. And
Hello. Today I'll be telling
and easily chewable and doesn't inhibit any of the future projects we've kind of been discussing that we're gonna put on the table out there in the next year or two. And then one of the other things Mr. Maha was able to do besides the low interest rate was, in case we decide we wanna be done with it earlier, it's actually callable at any time, meaning should the city desire to pay it off early, even before the 5 years, we can do that too.
Okay.
Monica?
Yeah, the original, we had done the $3 million, and so when we went this route, obviously with a tax note, there's some issuance costs and things of that nature. So we went ahead and included the full $3,182,906 for the actual cost of what the bid was. And then the issuing cost, so the note is gonna be for $3,240,000. It has, if you'll look in that second bid summary book, it has all the payment schedules. We had budgeted $700,000 this year, but the way we did this note, the first payment won't come due until next February. So that money that we got in the $700,000 just stays in the reserve, and we have it to pay for next year, and we're a 5-year out. So it's a little bit higher than we had budgeted, but it's because we put the whole thing in, but it's still at the 3.47. It is a really good rate. It's a better rate than what we had before, so.
Good news. Thank you. Any other questions for Monica? Okay, so do I have a motion?
Mayor, I'd make the motion to authorize the issuance of this debt through ordinance 2026-0-02.
Second.
So I have a motion from Mr. Nix and a second from Mr. Durfee. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 8 on our agenda is consider the award of Longley Private Drive Relocation Project. And Nick Williams, please.
Yes, sir. Mayor and council, thank you. On January 15th, the city received and opened 5 bids for the Longley Private Drive Relocation Project. As a reminder, this project is born out of a negotiation with the landowners to extend the Stephenville Runway project. The low bid of those 5 was from J. Mills Contracting of $536,311.35. The budget allocated $832,000 for this project in construction, so well below that number. The estimated time for construction is approximately 90 days from the award and contract start time, which typically takes about a month to get your bonds and insurance in, set your pre-con, and then get going. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Nick? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the bid for the Longley Private Drive Relocation Project as presented.
Second. I have a motion from Matty Smith and a second from Gerald Cook. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll get on to our service committees now. First up, we have Parks and Leisure Service Committee, and I'm going to ask Matty to do the committee report on January 20th, 2026.
So on January 20th, the committee met with the gentleman from Craftsman Commercial Playground, and Mr. Trestle and him gave a presentation about the project that we hope to move forward with at J.C. Park and the City Park. And call Dan up here.
Again, if you like.
Darren, you want to come up here and kind of give a rundown of what was discussed at the January 20th committee meeting, all the logistics?
Yes, ma'am. Mayor, council, So at the last meeting, we went over the projects with Craftsman Commercial Playgrounds and Aquatics, and we went over the details of the project at J.C. Park, which is a splash pad that would be the exact same size as the splash pad that we put in the replacement of Splashville as well. That project will be phased first in line, so that hopefully we could have something open this summer if this is what we move forward with. And then we went over the reconstruction of Splashville, taking out and removing all the current pool features, and then building that space out as a splash pad with 4 other children's amenities and some pickleball courts, and trying to make it more of a family-oriented center that can be open year-round.
And this is a project that we did budget for in this current.
Yes, it was budgeted for in this fiscal year.
We budgeted 3 million, and these contracts will be,
So the specific contract amounts, and we've got each one in a separate contract. So the project at J.C. Park is $447,000, $661.97, and that's for the splash pad at J.C. Park. We'll have to do a little bit of utility work on our side, depending on the runs for water and sewer and things like that, and to get some electricity to that site. And then the larger project, which is the removal of the pool at Splashville and rebuilding that entire site, is $2,185,678.80. And so all in, we're sitting at about 2.6, somewhere in there, and that's got some contingency built in it. And, I mean, they've done this before, so it's not a new project to them. They're doing it a little differently than they've done it in the past. A lot of times they've taken a pool out and put a large splash pad in and done nothing else. This adds some different amenities to it to give families a longer length of time to use it during the year.
Any more questions for Darren? Thank you, Darren.
One question.
I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
How long will it take the construction side of this on the J.C. Park?
We believe we can have the J.C. Park feature done by about June,
1st of June?
somewhere in that area. If everything goes well, we get contracts to Randy and we get the licensing or the bonding and the insurance and all that stuff straightened out. We believe June's probably a pretty good date. So right there at the end of school, beginning of the summer. The other project will probably not finish, honestly, until the next fiscal year would be the completion date for that sometime. So it's a little longer lead time on that with the demolition, and it's just a much more complex project.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Darren.
I would just like to thank Darren and his department for bringing this to the table and giving us options to look over to make improvements in our park. Keep moving forward.
Ma'am.
Thank you, Darren, again. So on number 10, we're gonna consider approval of the contract with Craftsman Commercial Playgrounds and Water Parks, what we've just heard from Darren and Maddie. And do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we consider approval of the contract with Craftsman Commercial Playgrounds and Water Parks. Second.
So I have a motion from Maddie Smith and a second from Leanne Durfee on approval for the contract of Craftsman and Commercial Playgrounds and Water Parks. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Next is Public Health and Safety Committee with Dean Parr as chair. Dean?
Yes, sir. So the Health and Safety Committee met on January 20th and discussed the renewal of the fire department medical physicals and addition of public works to the contract. The committee unanimously approved moving the action forward to council for approval. Stephenville Fire Department, Stephenville Public Works Department seek approval for annual wellness physicals. These comprehensive medical evaluations align with the state mandated standards for fire department personnel and address the similar health risks faced by public work employees. This initiative is aimed to promote wellness, reduce work-related injuries, and enhance overall job performance. Frontline Mobile Health has provided our departments with medical physicals for the past 3 years, monitoring individual health trends and facilitating timely interventions when necessary. The metric tracking of each member allows for a detailed health picture, encouraging optimal health. This year, we propose expanding the annual contract to include the Public Works Department. Collaborating with Frontline Mobile Health and Public Works, we have assessed the shared risk factors in both job environments and believe this initiative will yield mutual benefits. Do you have any questions?
Questions for Dean?
Okay,
Okay,
with
thank
that,
you.
make a motion that we consider the approval of the annual firefighter public works medical physical evaluations.
Second.
I have a motion from Dean Parr and a second from Leanne Durfee. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Dean. Public Works Committee, Alan Nix, Chair.
Thank you, Mayor. We met also on the 20th and discussed the upcoming projects that we have on the books and in planning stages for Public Works. They include some well field pump improvements and some pump station and ground storage, transmission lines, the next stage of the east side sewer. There are several other projects that we discussed briefly that led to the discussion of the rate structure for our water and sewer charges. These charges are based on our anticipated expenses and programs and improvements that we need to make for the system, as well as maintenance and operation in the current system. We discussed these and we took no action at the committee, and there's not any action necessary today. It was just a matter of discussion so that we know these things are coming, and that's why we are looking at the rate structure as we are, and we have a new rate structure that we looked at briefly. We'll begin to do more in-depth discussion on that when we enter into our budget discussions later on this year or next year's budget. But all of these things will become a factor in that rate structure and the reasons for increasing the rate structure. There was no action taken, no recommendation to the council. It was just an informational meeting.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you. So we'll go over to the financial reports and Monica Harris, Director of Finance. Monica, please. And number 14, she's gonna go over the monthly budget report for the period ending December 31st, 2025.
Yes, sir. This is 3 months into our fiscal year. Our financial indicators were overall as or better than we anticipated, except for our property taxes and our debt issuance. For the property taxes, we received $2.1 million in the month of December. That resulted in $928,000 decrease in the funds collected last fiscal year to date. So we're at 36% of our budget, and that's about $800,000 less than anticipated. And you can see that on that graph, the last one under December. You can see where it goes down from this year to last year. The taxes are not delinquent until January 31st, so I'm hoping that it was just a lot of people trying to hold on to their money until the last minute. So once we get the December number in, which we should be getting in the next week or so from the collector, tax assessor collector, then we'll be able to tell, kind of what we got going on, and then I'll have a discussion with her on what's causing the delinquency. For our sales tax, we received $864,000 in December. That's $164,000 or 6% more than the funds collected last fiscal year to date. We're at 28% of our budget, and that's about $125,000 more than what we had anticipated. Of the $12.1 million received revenue to date, 51% is in our general fund, sales tax and property tax, and 29% was in our wastewater fund, which is our charges for services, and then 12% was in our landfill fund for our charges for services, 3% stormwater drainage, 2% in our hot fund, and then 1% in our TIF fund, debt service fund, and our airport fund. We received 23% of our total budgeted revenue through December. That's $0.2 million less than anticipated. Again, that's due to our property taxes and then our debt proceeds, which was for debt that hadn't been issued, which y'all just approved tonight. So we'll get back into shape on that next month. And then we received $123,000 less in revenue through December. Again, that's due to property taxes. We did have some increases. You know, I said property taxes were down about $800,000, but we did have some increases in our charges for services and other revenue, things of that nature that kind of closed the gap a little bit for us. Of the $9.5 million spent to date, 59% was expended in the general fund and 24% was expended in the water wastewater fund. And the general fund is where the bulk of our employees are, and then water wastewater fund is where a lot of our projects and things are. 14% was expended in the landfill fund, and 1% was expended in our capital projects fund, hot fund, and our airport fund. We've expended 15% of our total budgeted expenditures through December. That's about $4.3 million less than anticipated. That's to personnel vacancies, contractual, and our capital outlay. We spent $2.2 million more on expenditures through December than last fiscal year to date. That again is due to personnel, contractual, and capital outlay. CETA has received 28% of their budgeted revenue through December. That's $11,000 more than the last fiscal year to date, and $13,000 more than anticipated due to taxes. CETA has spent an overall 28% of their budget expenditures through December. That's $2,000 less than last fiscal year to date due to general services, and $1,000 more than anticipated due to machine and equipment maintenance and grant disbursements. Are there any questions?
Question for Monica.
You want me to go on to the?
Yes, let's go on to 50, yes, please.
Okay,
Thank you.
so this is our quarterly investment report for the period ending December. Our total market value of cash and investments on December 31st was $44,305,318. That's about $1.1 million increase over the quarter ending September 30th. And that's due to, we got a lot of sales tax and other revenues in and haven't spent as much. This is allocated 8% in our demand accounts, less than 1% in cash money market accounts, 6% in our certificates of deposits, 35% in our Techstar investment pool, and 51% in our Tex pool investment pool. Our cash and investment accounts earned $431,000 in interest for the quarter. The average yield to maturity for all of our account types was 3.96. The average yield to maturity for our investment account types was just 4.02. And then our benchmark is the 3 months treasury bill, and for that quarter, the average was 3.73. So we're a little bit above our benchmark. And then our average weighted maturity in days of the portfolio was 11.04 days, so we are extremely liquid.
Any questions for Monica? Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
We're going to go to the consent agenda in 16 and 17. 16 is consider approval of minutes from January 6, 2026 regular meeting, and consider approval of minutes from January 20, 2026 special meeting. We'll combine these unless someone wants to pull one of these out. If we don't, do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Gerald Cook and a second by Maddie Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Comments from the city manager?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, we will be closed on February 16th for President's Day. Want to take a minute. Y'all saw an email that I sent at the end of last week, but just want to mention it publicly. We had some winter weather the other day, and so behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see is the number of our folks that have to either work out in the weather or be here 24/7 and support efforts to make everything work through that. So certainly want to thank all of our police officers, firefighters, telecommunicators. They were here throughout all that, and many of them either had to stay in hotels or stay at fire stations away from their families so that we could make sure we had enough folks out working. our different public works crews, whether it was sanding streets or traveling on dangerous roads out to check our water wells, out in the rural areas of the county, our Parks Department, checking on their facilities and keeping the park in such a way and being present so that a whole lot of people got to enjoy everybody's favorite hill, during that time and have a lot of fun. And judging from all the photos and stuff I saw, that was fantastic. And so just want to thank all of our folks that, were out in that. It made everything go smooth, and then, you know, working with our leadership team, the county's leadership team, SISD, all of that made the decisions we all needed to make much easier. And so just want to say thank you to them again. And then to you guys, when we met on December 2nd, we said, hey, we're going to slow down for a minute, let you guys take, you know, the rest of the year off, but we're going to start you back in a hurry. And if you followed along tonight in your agenda, I mean, you guys did 3 large projects in 3 separate areas that you approved tonight, that we will get cranking on executing those in tomorrow. A water project, airport runway project, and then project in the park. And that's kind of just the beginning of it. So,
Thank you, sir. Comments by city council members, place 1, Leanne.
I'd just like to take a moment and express my thanks to the people that reached out after Daryl's passing. He and I worked very, very close together and on many projects, and many times I called him and said, what now? What are you fixing to ask me to do? But he never said no, and he helped in a million different ways. And I hope when people go to the Western Swing Festival, they automatically think of him, because that was his baby, and he grew that and built it, and it was an amazing thing, along with lots of other projects around town. And I appreciate the time that I had with him, working with him, and I hope Angie and Preston and Sydney all feel our love and support and prayers. And so, anyway, congratulations again to the Steamboat Yellow Jackets, and appreciate them showing up for us tonight. I don't know how you get the jerseys on, but kudos to y'all. You deserve a medal just for that. Several months ago, we passed where they were going to build extra seating out at the rodeo arena using hot funds, and they are breaking ground on that on Monday with the first set of the new bleachers and the skyboxes, and that is all for us, bringing more people to town to enjoy the rodeo. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Very good.
Daryl.
Our many thanks to the staff, for one thing. Here, it's tough. I'll never forget a few years ago when we had a really major ice storm, and we had some water main breaks at that time, particularly along Long Street. It's not going to happen again, right, Nick? And and everything. And pictures were posted of our crews in those pits in the freezing water, you know, literally fixing those things. But it goes beyond that. It's the police, it's the fire, it's all of the essential personnel that you have. And I'd just like to express my gratitude to everyone on the staff that has really given that extra mile to make things work. And they have here in this ice storm. You know, it's been really a positive thing, and I think it is. Our mayor was talking about teamwork today, and it's been a teamwork type of proposition for us. And Jason, thank you very much for your leadership, and Mayor, thank you. Yeah, I thought it was very, very well done. And we obviously want to congratulate the Yellow Jackets and all. I mean, I wouldn't be wearing this. I don't know how you take it off, but it took forever to get it on. But anyway, it's quite a fun type thing, and it's nice to celebrate wins.
Yes, sir.
Always. So, anyway, to that, and I guess there's probably a fairly good sized, hopefully a win tonight, against Brownwood for the basketball team too, is that not right? So, anyway, but, we have done some major things today. These three things, basically, are starting the year off, as Jason said, with a big bang. But this is going to be the first of many things. We've got major land use regulations and plans coming up, and that's going to start here coming up in the next month. And so that's going to be another major thing. We've got some other capital improvements that are going to be done. So get ready for the ride. It's coming right on. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Dean?
Don't have anything.
Maddie?
Oh, I'll take your time too, because I've got a whole list here.
Oh, goodness.
First, I'd like to congratulate our City Secretary, Sarah Lockenhauer, and our Deputy City Secretary, J.C. Woods, on their completion and graduation recently with their Texas Municipal Clerk Certificate. They're a huge asset to our city and our council, and so we just want to thank you and congratulate you on those completions. Also, I'd like to congratulate our firefighters, Keegan Craddock and Hayden Ince, on their recent graduation from paramedic school. Both of those gentlemen are now licensed paramedics and will be a great addition to our force at the fire department. So I'd like to congratulate them on their completion of those achievements. And then I'd like to echo the thank you to our first responders and public work and city staff who worked during the freeze. Just because the roads freeze over doesn't mean the world stops moving, and they continue to work to make sure the city and the citizens were cared for, and we made it through. So once again, thank y'all very much for everything y'all do for us. Moving on to the park. SPARD youth basketball season is winding down. They had a record number of student athletes this fall of 512. 44 of those athletes were local and 72 were out-of-towners. With that number of kids, there was also 67 plus parent volunteer coaches. And so I'd like to thank those parents and volunteers for their time that they gave up to coach and educate our future Yellow Jackets and Honeybees. We couldn't do it without you guys volunteering your time, so just want to echo a thank you for that. Also down at the park, now through March 2nd, registration is underway for spring sports. We've got t-ball, blast ball, baseball, softball, volleyball, flag football, which is 5v5 passing only. And you can register online now through March 2nd. Also, I'm looking forward to seeing all the photos online from the Daddy-Daughter dances taking place next week at the Legacy Center. I know Darren and Kaylee and their crew, they work hard to make this night one to remember for everybody. This event is sold out, but be on the lookout for Mother-Son Mayhem registration that'll be posted online in the coming weeks. Filing period for City Council and Mayor is still open until February 13th at 5 p.m. All that information is online. The Harlem Globetrotters are going to be here next weekend, next Friday at the EECU. That's kind of cool for our community. Hopefully it brings in some people to town and get to witness that. And then on a personal note, I'd like to wish the Gilbert Intermediate GT kiddos good luck next weekend in Dallas, as they're attending a regional competition for Lego and robotics. This just goes to say that we're not only City of Champions on the field, but in the classroom and in the community as well. So that's a big hoorah for those guys. I'd like to echo the congratulations to the Stephenville Yellow Jacket football team on their 2025 4A Division I state championship. And then Mr. Baskett reached out to me today. He regrets not being able to attend today. He had a death of the family this afternoon. He asked that I mention that the Stephenville High School competition cheer team finished 13th in the state for Division 4A, which is the highest that they have ever finished for the state competition. So good job on that, girls, and we're proud of you. And with that, that completes my 2 pages of reports. So thank you.
For once, I wasn't the longest one.
Alan?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo the appreciation for all of our staff. Public Works, Fire, Police, all of the people who literally kept things rolling and kept us all informed of what was happening. And they did it, as they always do, did an exemplary job, and I appreciate that. I also want to thank Darren and his crew for the work that they've done, trying to come up with something that's feasible and affordable to do with Splashville, and then adding something in the J.C. Park for that side of town that people can use and enjoy. The added features will, I think, improve the park certainly, but it'll also increase the opportunities for people to come, and I think we'll see an influx of people coming because of those things. In both instances, I think it'll be a great improvement to our park. And I would also like to thank all those volunteers who are gonna start working on our zoning and land use and all of those things. That's gonna take some time, it's gonna take some effort, it's gonna take some dedication on their part. I wanna thank Steve for organizing that, and I want to thank all of those people who have graciously volunteered their time to help with that, because it is an important part of what we look forward to in the city, and that's growth. If we want to continue to grow, if we want to continue to move forward as we have been doing the last few years, these are the tools that we will need to use, and the people that we will need to help implement these tools. And I appreciate them and their time and their willingness, and I appreciate Steve and his department, because they do a fantastic job with all of the various details and things that they deal with on a day-to-day basis that we don't have to deal with, thank goodness. But I appreciate that. Y'all always do well, and I get compliments on your department frequently because of the efficiency and maybe more than anything else, the courtesy that you deal with people. And that's important when you're dealing with the public in any platform. But thank you. That's all I have for tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. And there's not much for me to say right now, except Darren, you're in trouble because my granddaughter, who's in kindergarten, is having withdrawals because basketball season's over. And she wants to know when we can't play some more. So I guess it went very well down there. Appreciate everything that you're doing down there for the children. We're gonna go into recess and we're gonna recess our regular meeting and enter to an executive session in compliance with the provisions of the Texas Open Meetings Law, Subchapter D, Government Code, Vernon's Texas Codes, annotated in accordance with Section 551.074, Personal Matters, to deliberate the appointment, employment, and evaluation, reassignment, duties, and discipline or dismissal of a public officer or employee, to wit, the executive assistant to the city manager. It is 6:38, and we will be back. let me reconvene us back into regular meeting. It is, 7:20. And action items we've discussed in the executive session.
Mayor, I have a motion to approve the assignment pay as discussed in executive session.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We will adjourn this, regular city council meeting at 7:21. Thank you, everyone.